Hey, hi. So, how are you guys? Okay, so this is going to be my second video. Hope you went through my first video, which is this one, ServiceNow Kickoff to SAM Professional Service Management Introduction. So that was my first video, guys. Please subscribe my channel, like, comment, and give your feedback. That would be valuable to me, right? So please give your feedback, guys. Let's start though. Our second topic. Today's topic would be form administration. So guys, hope you remember what is called field, what is called record, what is called form, right? We have discussed these things in our last class. So today's topic is form administration, right? Let's start the thing. As I told you in my last class, each and every field, each and every record present in ServiceNow is in terms of table. So ServiceNow is always following the table module, table model, right? Uh, let's go on one of the table. We have to see the table called sys underscore user table. I hope you remember in the last class we have discussed the user table, right? What we did in the last class, we have created a new user, we have added a user in the group, and then we have added a role in the group. In that way, we used to assign role to a specific user in service now. Okay, let's go to a user table. So guys, this is a list of users which are present in table. What is table name? Right, we can see here table name is sys underscore user. So that is a table name. You can see here underscore list dot two. What does it mean? So it means that we have opened the list of user list dot two. A form is not open. List is reflecting here. List interface is reflecting here, right? Before going into the form, before the submitting any of the record, I would like to tell you about system ID, sys ID. Might be you have heard this name or might be not. So what is called sys ID? Sys ID is a globally unique ID which is identical for each of the record present in each table in each instance, right? Let's say we have this instance development 31767. So this is one instance. So in this instance, able tutor, this first row, this is first record. So we should have an identical ID for each and every field present in this record, the first record. Let's see, can you say this one? Copy sys ID. Okay, I just copied it here. Let's try to say it here in the notepad. So this is my system ID for first column, first record. As I told you, for each record there should be an identical sys id. That means it does not matter if we are going to see the second column, second field, third field, fourth field. For each record, for each row, sys id has to be unique. Let's see what is sys id against second column and first row. Able tutor. Okay, we can set same. As I told you, system ID is a globally unique ID identified by ServiceNow for each record, right? Now, if I'm going on second record, that is Abraham Lincoln. User ID is Abraham Lincoln for the second record. Let's see what is system ID. I copied it here, right? You can see it's A849. It's different than the first and second one. So that does mean the system ID is unique for each record. It is unique for each record, right? If we have 618 record in a user table, sys underscore user table, that means 618 unique system ID would be there for user table against user table, and obviously we would have a different system ID for other table as well, right? I hope it's clear. So today's topic is form administration. Now, as I told you in the last class, whenever I am opening any record, we are opening any record, the web user interface that would be reflecting in the content frame is named as a form, right? Let's say I'm opening a first record where user ID is able.tutor. Okay. Okay. So guys, as you can see here, this is the form, right? Form against the field, form against the record where username is able tutor, which table it is referring to user table. We can see from here, we can see from sys underscore user here. Now as I told you earlier, if we have the list of things, only dot two would be there, list dot two would be there, right? But since right now we are having a form, that's why it is user dot two, sys underscore user dot two. Earlier, for the list of user, we were having sys underscore user underscore list dot two. That's the difference. So that's how I can tell that this is form, this is not list by the browser URL also. So let's come on this point. As we know, user table sys underscore user is a system defined table, service not defined table. We have not created this table, it's not a custom table. So we have predefined field in this table: user ID, first name, last name, title, department, password. These all are system defined field. We have not created these fields, right? So we can see the list of all the fields present in ServiceNow against user table. Okay, just we have to go on configure, we have to go on form layout. So under form layout we can see list of all the fields which is present in ServiceNow for user table, as well as we can see the list of field which will be reflecting in content frame, right? So available means all the available field in ServiceNow. Selected means only those fields which would be reflecting over the web interface. Okay, so we can see these are the by default fields, OOTB fields. As I told you, OOTB means out of the box, system created fields. Now, since my topic is form administration, so of course my business requirement would be different as per the data what we do have. Of course the requirement would change. So ServiceNow is providing us this flexibility, right? What we can do, we can add the custom field, we can add the field as per our requirement. So let's say we have a new user which has to be added in our infrastructure or in our company. So we are going to add that user in the sys underscore user table, right? And as per our business need, we have to add some more field. Of course, if it's not present in this table, if it's not present in the system defined table, we have to add a custom field. You can see here, right? Create a new field. Let's say I have to add a sex of user, new candidate. Is a male or is a female, right? So what should be type of sex? It should be choice, right? We have two choices, male, female. So type would be choice. I added here, and we can see it is reflecting here user sex, right? Is it clear? I'm going to add a new field apart from user sex, branch. So we do have the department of user by default as a system defined field. Branch is a custom defined field which I am creating. So branch can be a definite category, right? We should have a choice of branches. It's not that anything can be branches, any string can be branches. No, we would have a list of branches, choice of branches. So that's why type is choice. We can see branch is reflecting on the selected bucket, right? The third field, custom field, which I'm going to create here is contract. What does it mean by contract? whether the user who have been hired is contract employee or not. So what can be type? Of course, type can be yes or no, right? In service now we have a choice called true or false. It's the same as yes or no, right? True or false. Let's see. True false, right? So we have added this custom defined field. It's added here, right? So till now we have added user sex, branch, contract. Now I'm adding one more field named as user manager. What should be type of this field, user manager? Guys, randomly you can tell that user manager has to be string, but user manager has to be from system underscore user table. Of course, manager would be the employee of company, and if it he or she is the manager, then he or she has to be present in the table, right? So we are making it as reference field. What does it mean by reference? Reference mean we are referring some different table to get the data, right? Table to refer. Which table we have to refer? Of course, we have to refer the same table, sys underscore user. Okay, so we are getting user manager name from sys underscore user table. I'm adding this field, so we can see we have a custom field called user sex, branch, contract, and user manager. So guys, I'm going to add one more field called date of joining, right? What should be type? Type should be date and time. We have a choice called date and time. Calendar date and time is the date and time. This one. So field type is date and time. I added. Okay, added. So again, I'm going to add one more field called resume. So if we have hired any of the employee or any of the user, we should have the resume, right? So that we can have an idea what is his proficiency, right? So what can be resume type? It has to be attachment. I hope it's clear, right? File attachment. Okay. So I'm going to add last field, guys. Of course, it would be a custom field. Salary. What should be choice of salary, guys? It should be currency. Though salary part is a confidential thing, just for a reference, I'm showing you this data, right? Type is currency. So let's say we have added our custom field. How many custom field we have added? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these 7 custom fields we have added. The above field, above end split, all these are system defined fields we have not created, right? I'm just saving the data. We can see the message 100% complete. Okay, I'm just closing this form section. So we would be back to our form. Let's see. Okay, so this user form is there. What is username? Abel tutor, right? Now we can see we have the new list of field. Can you see here? User sex, branch, contract, user manager, date of join, resume, salary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 fields we have added. Where we have added these 7 custom field in a table. Which table? We have added these custom field in a table called sys underscore user, right? That's the service not table name, sys underscore user. And this user is a label name. That's the difference. So when we will say what is the name of this table against this form is reflecting, table name is underscore user and label name is user. Guys, so let's try to work on these custom defined fields. User sex. So what can be the option? Either it can be a male or female, but we can say it's a none by default. Obviously, we have to configure the choices, right? How we can configure the choices? Just I clicked right clicked here. Okay. We can see option called configure choices. We can add item from here. It can be male or it can be female, right? I just saved the data. So guys, now we can see what options we are getting under user sex. Let's see. Male female options is there, right? We can select either male or female. So we do have a next custom field called branch. We can set none by default. That means we have to configure the choices. Let's see. Our company is having three branches in India: Delhi, Mumbai and Kolkata. Okay, so I'm just configuring the choices. Configure choices in the same order. So I'm going to save these choices. Okay, so we can see that we do have choice options against branch Delhi, Mumbai and Kolkata. We do have choice options against user sex field, male and female, right? Now contract. Of course, right now we have not configured anything, but since field type is what true false, so whenever I clicked on here, that means true. He or she is a contract employee. Whenever I haven't selected this contract, that means false, right? If user is a contract employee, we have to submit this one. We have to click it here. If he or she is not a contract employee, then we don't need to click anything here. User manager. If you remember, I told you user manager is a reference field. Why? This user manager field will take the information, will take the data from different table. From which table we will take the data? Here in this case, from sys underscore user table only, because sys underscore user table is having all the user list present in our infrastructure or organization, right? So we can see this sys underscore user table is reflecting. We just need to select the manager. All the 618 users are reflecting here, right? So it's working fine. Okay, now we can see user sex. It's a choice field. Branch is choice field. Contract is true false field. User manager is reference field. Why? Because it is referring to a different table. Date of joining. Date of joining has to be date time field, right? And we have selected choice as date and time, so we can select date and time from here, whatever it is. Got it. Resume. We can see, since we have selected choice as an attachment, right, we can add as an attachment from here. Choose a file and we would be able to add an attachment, right? Okay, okay, so last we can say salary. Of course, in the user table, company will not have a salary field. No company is going to reveal the salary field. Just for reference, guys, I have taken the salary custom field here, and we can see the currency type. We have dollar, sterling, pound, so different currency types are there, and we have to just write the salary. So it's $1,600. Okay, $16,000. I hope it's clear. So we got a new set of field, new set of custom field. Guys, how can we say which field is user defined field and which field is system defined field? See, user ID. I went here, I just right click, so users underscore name, and we can see field user underscore name, right? So it's a system defined field. Why? We don't have u underscore field name. But when I'm going to custom field which I have created, say this one user 6, I right clicked over here, I'm just showing it here, and we can see what is field name. U underscore, u means what? User. U means you have created, user have created this field. This is not system defined field. One more thing I would just like to tell you here, that we are able to delete custom defined field only. We don't have access right to delete the system defined field. How to delete custom defined field? Okay, let's see. I went on user 6, it's a custom defined field. Right click, let's go on configure dictionary. Changes you made may not be saved, that's okay. So guys, we can see delete column option is there, right? So we can delete this custom field. But when I will try to delete the system defined field, let's see what will happen. So first name is a system defined field. Okay, what is happening? Okay, so we can see configure dictionary. We have to see, can we delete this field or not? If we can edit this field, to which extent, right? Guys, we can see there is no button for delete, for deletion, right? Why? Because this is system defined field. How can we say that this is system defined field? Because under field name we don't have u underscore thing, right? We can say the column name, column is called field. First underscore name is there, it's not u underscore first underscore name. I hope it's clear, right? I'm just going back. So since we have added a new set of fields in a table called user, let's try to open or create a new user, right? I'm just refreshing this field. Okay, I'm creating a user list. Okay, so we got a new form, right? We have to insert the user details. Let's say Akshay Kumar, Akshay.Kumar. First name is Akshay, last name is Kumar. Let's say title is Mr. Department. Let's see. Since it's a system defined field, we can see these departments are already there. The choices are there. IT department, HR, finance. Let's say this Akshay Kumar is a new user who is going to be part of IT department. Okay. Password. We can write anything here. Okay. Let's go on our custom fields. User 6. Let's say Akshay's mail. Branch. Let's say he's part of Delhi branch. Contract, let's say he's not a contract employee. User manager, let's say Abraham Lincoln is manager of Akshay, right? Date of joining, let's say today's is date of joining, 30th of December, correct? Resume, I don't have resume, so I'm not going to add any attachment. Salary, let's say $6,000 is your salary. Okay, so I'm getting an option to submit. I submitted this form. Okay, so what option we are getting? Password must contain minimum 8 characters, maximum 40 character, at least one. So this is the thing we have defined to provide password. That's the minimal requirement to have a password. Let's see. Oh, we lost all the data. So what we will do, we will just submit the mandatory field only. Okay. Akshay Kumar. First name is Akshay. Last name is Kumar. User is male. Branch is Delhi. He is not a contract employee. Manager is Abraham Lincoln. Okay, Abraham Lincoln. Today's is date of joining already selected. Salary is $6,000. Guys, so I'm submitting this button. I'm submitting this form. So we can see two messages. Primary email device created for Akshay Kumar. Record not found. Okay. Let's try it again. Let's have a user ID is an Akshay dot Kumar. So that's the new record. Okay. First name is Akshay. Last name is Kumar. These things are not mandatory. Okay. User X is male. Branch is Delhi. Is not a contract employee. User manager we can submit from here through a lookup list. And which table will open? User table will open. Abraham Lincoln. Okay. We have date of joining. We have resume. We have salary. I'm just clicking on submit button. Duplicate entry Akshay Kumar ki username. Invalid insert. We can't submit this data. Why? Because we already have this username. All the information are same. That's why it's mentioned a duplicate entry. Let's try to see where checkmark is reflecting. Sys underscore user dot list. Do we have this name? Name AKSHAY. Yeah, so guys, we have added the custom field. We are having a system defined field in a table called sys underscore user table, and label name is users, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to just create a new we're just going to create a new form where we will be adding all the details against a user table, right? Let's open a new form. We can see that we are getting the system defined field as well as we are getting the custom defined field. We have created 7 custom defined field if you remember, and rest of the fields are system defined field, OOTB field, service not defined fields, right? Let's say my user ID is let's say is, we can name it anything guys. Vivek Oberoi. Vivek dot Oberoi. First name is Vivek, last name is Oberoi. Okay, I'm just going to fill the mandatory fields. Okay, user sex is male, branch is Delhi, he is not a contract employee. User manager is Abraham Lincoln, so we are going to select Abraham Lincoln name from the sys underscore user table, right? We have selected. If you remember, user manager is reference field, contract is true false field, branch is choice field, user sex is choice field, date of joining, it's a date time field, right? Let's say this guy called Vivek Oberoi joined our office organization on 30th December, right? Let's say his salary is 60,000. Guys, I'm not going to add any resume because I don't have any ready-made resume available in my laptop. Okay, and it's not mandatory. I'm going to submit this form. You can see primary email device created for Vivek Oberoi. What does it mean? We have added a new record. We have added a new row where it has been added in sys underscore user table. You can see here underscore list dot to. What does it mean? That currently in content frame list of user is open, form is not open. Let's try to find out where is Vivek, our new employee. Okay, here is Vivek Oberoi. Guys, let's say you can see here we have not submitted all the fields, we have not filled all the fields here. City is vacant. Now let's say, as per company policy, we have to mention the city name. It's mandate. We can say it's not a mandatory field, but we have to make this field as mandatory. How can we make it? Right click on city field. As we know, that's a system defined field, right? I just went on configure dictionary. Okay, let's see. Guys, I will just click here. I will select the mandatory option. Okay, and I will update the form. Can you see here? Of course, I have to reload the form, right? So I'm opening the user table and I will search the new employee called Vivek. Let's see, city is mandatory or not in this form. It is still not mandatory. Let's see why. Configure dictionary. I don't know why it haven't got clicked. I just click it and I am. updating this form. Update. Guys, you can see again city field. That's a system defined field, is not mandatory. But if you remember, we went on configure dictionary, we have selected the mandatory button, but again it's not working. Why? I will show you why. Again, I'm going on configure dictionary option. Okay, changes you made may not be saved. That's okay. Currently my motto is to make city field, the system defined field, as a mandatory one, guys. So I have selected here mandatory, right? So once I have selected the mandatory button, right, I need to wait up to this blue letter things will appear, this blue section would appear. A dictionary entry manages how ServiceNow store data. So that's a definition and all, but we have to wait for this thing. Now I'm going to update and you will see that city field, the system defined city field, is mandatory to submit the form. Let's see. Again, it's not mandatory. Let's see about the detail of this field, city. We can see that it belongs to a table called sys underscore user, the same table in which we are right now. Its type is string and it's a system defined field, right? Let's try to make it as mandatory. Configure dictionary. Okay, city is mandatory. Okay, it's mandatory. It's mandatory. I'm saving this form. Okay, I'm just updating this now. Guys, you can see we have a city field as mandatory. Red aspect is there, right? If we will just have a new user ID, let's say we have a new username uh, who is having name as Salman Khan, Salman.Khan. First name is Salman, last name is Khan. I'm not going to fill out any of the field, let's say. But we can see, though we can see that city is a mandatory field, but I will not fill. Okay. I'm trying to submit the form. Let's see. The following mandatory fields are not filled in city. So you have to fill the city field, right? It's mandatory field. You don't have option to skip the city field. You can't submit the form unless and until you are filling the city field option, whose type is a string. That means you can add any city from where user belongs to. Let's say I'm filling a city called Indore, and now I'm submitting this form with user ID Salman.Khan. Sys underscore user dot list. Let's see Salman Khan option is there or not. We can see we have added Salman Khan. City is Indore. So guys, right now we have added two more fields. One is Salman.Khan and second is Vivek.Oberoi, right? Only difference is that when we have added Vivek.Oberoi, city field was not mandatory, but when we were adding Salman.Khan, we made city field as mandatory through configure dictionary and clicking on the mandatory button. Hope it's clear. So guys, this was the form administration topic, and now I'm going to end this topic here only. If you have any question, please let me know. You are feel just feel free to write a comment and give your valuable feedback, right? Thank you.